The Boys season 4 has a lot of crazy stuff. There's lots of sex, there's some stuff that goes in the butt, there's also blood and death, and there's so many references to real life. Oh my god, it's that exciting. But maybe it does get a bit too much with the references that only serve to make light of our own reality and not really the one that is set in this fictional universe of The Boys. Then there's a range of subplots for basically each member of our core group that I'd say end up making this whole season drag a bit for me and just extended to get to that fifth and final season. In between that, we do get those bloody action bits, the humor that lands with the one that I guess sometimes doesn't, and the show just still is entertaining, I'd say. So those are my 2 cents on this 4th season of The Boys. Lachlan, what do you think of this latest one?
I am not as much in the negative camp as everybody else. I think that I do agree with a lot of the points that, yes, there's too much going on. Yes, it references too much in real life. But I do feel like it's that sort of lead up to that final season. It sets a lot of stakes up with Butch's, terminal illness, relationships being on strain with Kimiko and Frenchie, MM's relationships. I think it does do a decent amount to set up the high stakes going into the final season, which I'm pretty sure season 5 is meant to be the final season.
It is, yeah.
And
last one, yeah.
For me, I think that it's a slow season. Yes, it's not as crazy as other seasons, and I don't think it always has to be. It's very difficult to keep upping each season with the crazy acts that go on. But I think that it's a good slow season for character development to then lead up to this final season that's probably just going to be wacky and wild as fuck.
It feels like this crazy thing of like, oh my god, they just did that on a TV show. But that kind of bit to me has run dry as you see over and over, like the same kind of gratuitous nature of it feeling like, hey, we're doing something crazy, here's the moment. It doesn't feel like as in-universe coherent as it did like maybe in earlier seasons. And it also doesn't make sense to me in a lot of ways that our characters are still alive and not just dealt with. And I felt like the first 2 seasons really had those stakes of each interaction with Soup was terrifying, and it's not really that anymore. I don't know, that's just maybe us getting used to it over the course of multiple seasons, but I think maybe this final one will definitely be more of that. And I felt the final episode of the season was also quite terrifying in moments of like the disregard that they have now for humans, and just like, okay, I guess they're going all out. Has me excited about season 5. I still feel like they could have wrapped it up in this and basically done whatever they do in season 5 in this and kind of scaled back in some of the, like the back and forth of like Butcher's leaving, Butcher's back, Butcher's leaving, Butcher's back. They do that in every other episode, and it got a bit tiring to me. His character is interesting of like, essentially making maybe him the other side of the coin of like the ultimate, I feel like that was already tackled in the first one where like, you got the superhero who's an asshole, and you also got the one on the human side that's also an asshole, and basically them going up against each other. It's basically 2 villains fighting with each other, not really like one of them being the heroic one, which makes for an interesting storyline, I'd say. But yeah, what did you make? Like, do you have favorite moments, favorite characters, anything? Like, what stood out to you?
I think probably one of my favorite moments was Huey and MM discovering Starlight's shapeshifter. I think that was probably my only like enjoyable sequence of knowing what was going on without him knowing, which sucks that was kind of right at the end, because nothing else in the season really stood out to me. Like Frenchie's self-imprisonment, I didn't really care because it was kind of resolved the next episode or next 2 episodes. For me, it was just, there was that little heart-to-heart that Huey had with what's her name, his Vanessa, and his dad. Even his dad didn't fun because like we haven't had Siren Peg in the series for ages, other than maybe his voice or pops up. So I didn't really have a care about his relationship, and it's the same with his mum. Didn't care about the relationship with his mum. So that little sequence was just kind of done. But yeah, like with actual characters that we've learnt to love and enjoy. Yeah, like the only good moments was the ones between them, but they were all separated the entire time. So that was just that story. Yeah. But it had to happen. It was a slow season. Nothing really stood out to me. Yes, this is the worst season of The Boys thus far. Everyone has their low points. They'll hopefully get back on their horse. So.
And Soldier Boy's back. You know, we had our qualms with the ending of season 3 as well, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this because I felt the addition of him was a much needed different side for the superheroes who are now all cowering on the Homelander and basically no one's really going up against him. What did you think of, again, spoilers here for our review, of course, but what do you think about them killing Newman at the end of this?
That was probably one of the worst decisions, I think, for the series, because having Newman's secret revealed is a massive thing throughout the entire show. Of keeping that a secret. For them to then just throw it all away and just be like, yep, she's outed, and then she dies, is kind of like a waste of that storyline.
Yeah. She's a big character in the series overall, like one that's almost as important, I'd say, secondary to Homelander. Like, she's right up there with any of our other main guys from The Boys, like with Butcher and Huey and Starlight. She's right up there in importance. And then cutting her short, I'd say it wasn't a moment for her to close her story. It was to add to Butcher's decision to go after, like, killing every suit. And I don't know. I get why it needs to have that big moment. And then the series also ends with them, like, fleeing and then all being captured in a way. Apart from, I guess, Starlight flying away. And to me, it's like, okay, well, it ends with them all. Like, why are they not all dead? They would all be dead. So I don't know where they start off in season 5.
They'll probably be in those, like, concentration camps that they're building with Tech Knight. So I'm thinking that they're all going to come out with, like, shaved heads and you know, in, like, workers gear and they're going to do some sort of, like, you know,
there's going to be
reference to this.
There's going to be a Kanye West reference. I can already
tell you. Pretty much.
Some cringe shit like that.
It's disappointing because they had some really exciting characters join up. Like, I really liked Firecracker as a character.
Breast milk lady.
Yeah, it's such a funny thing to have this superhero be so right-winged in this world that it's like a perfect, like, matchup, but Homelander fucking hates her, like, just can't stand who she is, even though she's fully supporting him, right? He even can't stand his own kind who really likes him. So it's a really cool character to have around him. And for her to go head-to-head with someone like Sage, who is this really big genius that, again, has their flaws, that's sort of like another fun character to have, like, this genius character that has this plan that gets thrown out, but then the plan kind of works. That's exciting. And then you've obviously got Jeffrey Dean Morgan who comes in, who plays, like, Joe Kessler, and that ends up being that twist, which I didn't like at first, but I've just come around to kind of accept, because Butcher's narrative this season was just all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's just because both Carl Urban and Jeffrey Dean Morgan are incredible actors. They're great. That's why this kind of works. It would fall apart with any other people. Like, it works because they're great. It's surprising to me that, like, the last episode of the show has a 9.3 on IMDb at the moment. So really? people are loving it. But I mean, with shows, the people who catch it as it comes out are always going to be, like, very favorable on it. I think it was one of the weakest of the series. I still feel like season 5 has an interesting setup with Homelander as president, and I like that we get there. I feel like it was pretty much clear that we are going to end up getting there. And for a show that usually really tries to throw you for a loop and then throw you so hard before it actually throws you that only your leg is there and your intestines are all over the place, like, that's the Boys. To not give us anything that was super surprising beyond just, like, hey, killing off Newman, that's a surprising twist thing. It was a bit, I can't help but feel it was a bit underwhelming overall. Yeah. Like, I still, like I said in the intro, I do feel like the show is still entertaining. It's decent. It's got some great actors in it. The writing, not so much at times. I give it like a 6 out of 10. 3 out of 5 overall for this show. I'm hoping it goes out with a huge bang.
Yeah, I'm at a 6 out of 10, or like I don't know what scale I should put this one on. Let's just go, it's the worst season, but it's fine.
I second that as well. And let us know what you thought of the season and which phase of VOT that you'd love to revisit and see adapted into real life, because that was really cool when they made fun of Marvel. And at the end there, when they made fun of just canceling the movie because they make more money from it, and she's on TV saying that. So that's really funny, because, like, that happened in real life with us and they're not being as open about it. So not great moments in between, but overall there's still blood and gore and sex, and that's kind of entertaining. So that's The Boys season 4.
You're all fucking welcome.